Well, welcome to today's episode. Today we're joined by Lorenza Velez. Lorenza is originally from Colombia and is the founder and CEO of Ponte Labor. It's a company helping hotels and restaurants across the U.S. hire workers for roles that are often hardest to fill. And before starting Ponte, Lorenza got her MBA from Harvard Business School, worked in consulting, and worked for one of the largest fintech startups in Colombia. And for those of you just joining the podcast, we at Strativa AI help businesses scale their revenue over 12 months using AI. So if you want to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure you stick around for future episodes. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop the word growth into the DMs. Now, Lorenza, welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think that you said that you're joining in from Colombia today, right?
I am. I'm visiting.
I love tech. Just like that. We are like reaching out across the world.
Exactly.
I love it. And so, yeah, can you share a little more about your background and some of the stuff that you're working on these days with Ponte?
Yeah, of course. So, as you mentioned, I actually worked for a fintech startup in Colombia like 6 years ago, which is where I met my two co-founders because they also worked there. We worked there together. We loved working there. And then eventually, I think the three of us knew that we wanted to start something and knew that we wanted to start something together. And then one of my co-founders was actually my roommate at HBS when we were getting our master's degree. And that's when the company got started. We started because we realized there are millions of immigrants in the US that struggle with language and tech barriers, but they're really good workers and they want jobs. And at the same time, a lot of employers want these candidates, but it's difficult for them to find them because they're not on the job boards, they're not applying directly. So we built Ponte to bridge that gap between great workers in the US and employers that really need these workers. And you asked me what we've been working on lately. And we actually recently launched, besides our traditional offering of helping companies recruit great workers, we launched actually an AI recruiter to help automate very time-consuming manual steps of the hiring process that with AI, you can do it faster, do it better, provide better candidate experience, have better metrics during the entire hiring process. So yeah.
Exciting. And so is that some AI that you guys built up internally, or is it like a product that you're using from someone
It's
else, or?
it's something that we built internally. We actually built
Nice.
it to be able to do the recruiting platform well and provide a better experience for the candidates and for our clients. And now that it's proven it works, we've tested it with, 70,000 candidates. We're now starting to offer that to our customers.
That's great. Fantastic. And then, so when did Ponte form?
20
So a couple years ago. And what have you grown into now? Like how many candidates or jobs do you fill a year, or how do you measure success?
So success is number of placed candidates. That's the most important metric for us. And then um, number of employers in the US that we work with. We've placed 1,200 candidates in jobs, but we've actually had 70,000 candidates sign up on our platform looking for jobs. Right now, we're focused on the hospitality industry. So we work with a little over 100 hotels in the US, all across the US, 69 cities in 22 states.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's quite a bit. Do you have like a lot of competitors that you're like kind of going against? And so like maybe you have the same client and then you're both trying to fulfill the role. What is that space like?
We do have a lot of competitors. So I would say one big competitor, even though they do things a little bit differently than we do, is the job boards, Indeed being the biggest one.
Just the
So
standard job board.
yeah,
Okay.
the standard job board. So every time a hotel has an opening, they'll post it on the job boards. And then they typically come to us if they're not able to fill it using the job boards. And then in hospitality, there's another really big labor solution, which is staffing agencies. So that's a little bit different because the candidates don't work directly for the hotels. They are outsourced labor, but staffing agencies are huge in the hospitality industry, especially for housekeeping.
Right, right, exactly. Okay. And then so it started with the three of you a couple years ago. And what have you grown to as far as your team is
So
in
we
size?
have 11 people, and that includes the co-founders. Four of that is tech and engineering, and then the rest is operations, marketing, sales, finance.
Got it. Okay. All right. And then so yeah, what does that AI look like that you've rolled out recently? What's the experience like?
So something really important is it's more on the back end than a front end. So it works on top of any applicant tracking system that a hotel is using. And then for the candidates, the experience is over the phone, via SMS or via WhatsApp. And basically, what it does is if you're a hotel, especially today in today's market, and let's say you open a position for like a housekeeper, you're getting, I don't know, depending on the city, but you're getting like 120 applicants on average per position that you open. So
Yeah,
then
wow.
the team on site has to filter through all of those candidates and filter out the ones that aren't a fit. That's where we step in first. We do like a screening. So resume screening and quick phone call screening. We then go back and forth with the candidate and with the hiring manager schedule to schedule the in-person interviews, which is typically pretty time consuming. And then after the hotel has made a decision on who they want to hire, we help the candidates with all the hiring paperwork. So for a lot of the hotels that we work with, the amount of paperwork that candidates have to complete to be able to work there, because it is a job where you have access to everyone's room, it's a job where it's really important that the guests feel like they're safe. So
Yeah.
there's a bunch of like paperwork related to being a housekeeper at a hotel. So we help the candidates through all of that hiring process. And if you multiply that times like, I don't know, a hotel that's hiring 15, 20 people per month, it's a really high volume of tasks that we're automating with these AI recruiters.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Does the industry in general have a lot of churn, a lot of turnover?
Yes,
It
yes.
does.
I think there are industries that are worse, like quick service restaurants, but it's probably one of the industries that has the highest turnover. So the like industry number is 80% churn of hourly workers yearly.
Hmm.
So yeah,
That's huge.
it's really high.
Wow. Yeah. So a tool that you've developed there in that AI space, that's got to be just massive value. What's the degree of acceptance and like what are the feedback of the clients around it?
That's actually a good question. So I think overall it's been really good. So a lot of time saved, more than they even expected that it would save. So what we've
Yeah.
seen is like 5 hours saved per hire, which is a lot of work because the people that are usually doing this work have many other things that they have to be doing
Yeah.
for the hotel.
100%.
So they can spend that time doing other things. All of the metrics in the hiring process improve. So shorter time to hire, less ghosting for in-person interviews, which is huge in the industry, and then better retention of candidates after they've hired because the pre-vetting is a
That's
little
big.
bit better. So the results have been really, really great for the hotels that are testing it right now. I think on the flip side of that, I feel like, and I don't know if you've seen the same, but there is a bit of kind of fear around using AI for recruiting because I think everybody wants AI to make them better at making their decisions, but nobody wants AI deciding which candidate to make the offer to.
Right. Yes.
So I feel like we get a mix of both of like people that are using it see the impact and they're really happy with the results, but there are also some people saying like, okay, explain really, really well to me, like what this does, how it works, how are you making the decisions? Because I feel like there have also been a couple of cases where AI made decisions and then the company got in trouble for that. So I think there's like a mix of both like fear and
Yeah.
excitement.
Yeah, yeah, that's prevalent kind of across the board, 100% with AI in general. And so when there's been some issues around the AI, what are some lessons learned? And like because of that, how's the process been changed?
That's a good question. We've never had trouble because our tools are built in a way that's very conservative. And the objective of using AI in these tools is to make the candidate experience a little bit better, like less robotic and more conversational, and automating the steps that are very manual, very repetitive, and have like very clear rules on how they're done versus using AI to completely replace a recruiter and make the decision on who to hire. So I think
Right.
I think where people get scared about AI and where there might be negative consequences is where you might have like a model that is trained on historic data that has biases, and so the model or the decision-making process ends up being biased and ends up maybe making decisions that might lead to like negative consequences for the company, which is very different to the way we are building this AI tool. So what we say is AI recruiter to make your teams more efficient and to make the human interaction part of the process like still key, but the steps that where you don't need somebody in the loop and you don't need that like human touch or human interaction,
Hmm.
let us automate that.
Right, right. And so you were saying that it's phone, text, and email. Is that right?
Phone, text, and email, correct?
So how does the phone interaction work? Is it like outbound or inbound? And is it that like you've trained an agent with a knowledge base about something and then they're going through a list of questions kind of helping pre-screen the candidate or
Exactly.
okay.
It's inbound, so the candidates call they'll receive a text message like, thank you so much for applying to this position. The next part of the process is a short phone call. Please call this number when you're ready. And then basically there, our AI agent will run the candidate through a couple of things that they need to be okay with if they want the job, which is, for example, are you okay with the wage? Are you okay with having to be available on the weekends? Because that's key for working in every hotel.
Yeah, 100%. Are they told that it's an AI agent?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. At
great.
the beginning of the call.
And are you guys able to track usage rate? Like, in other words, do any of the people end the call because it's AI?
No. Up until now, no. They end the call for other reasons. So, for example, they're not interested in the wage and they're like, since it's AI, I don't even have to like, stay on the
Say
call or like
goodbye.
be polite. Yeah.
Right.
But never in that step.
Interesting. Okay, that's great. Okay. And is it kind of at the front of their experience and then when it goes into the human interaction, the humans just take over 100% or does it somehow stay a part of the entire hiring potential process or, deciding not to hire?
That's a really good question. It stays a part of the entire process. Where the humans come in is for the in-person interview after the candidates have, if the candidates are okay with like working on the weekends, all of those things that they need to be okay with in order to do the job, they will be scheduled for an in-person interview with a human. The human will make the decision on hire, not hire. Let's move to next interview with a human. And then after that, the AI steps back in again. Like I will help you navigate the hiring process. So for example, the candidates will start getting documents to their email. It'll send you a text or WhatsApp reminder like, hey, you received this on your email. Do you need help completing it? I can help you. Or, hey, I noticed the background check has been waiting in your email for 24 hours. Why haven't you opened it? Do you need help? So it'll kind of like assist them through that hiring process and reminders, ask them if they need help.
That's great. That's fantastic. How long was that in development?
2 years since we started.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You knew that you wanted it apart, and it does take some time, but it sounds like you've definitely got it performing to a high degree. Is there still like tweaks that are going on, or is it pretty much everything is working fine? If it's not broken, don't fix it, sort of thing.
So everything works fine now for hotels that want to use it. But the reason why it works fine is because the AI recruiter flags when, for example, the phone call, there was something with a problem with the phone call. It will flag it. And then one of our humans will check what happened. And then we'll see, like, oh, this was the mistake. We need to call the candidate again, or we need the candidate to call us again. Or, for example,
Yeah.
if it doesn't understand one of the answers that the candidate provided because it's not yes or no, or it's not something that the AI recruiter can analyze well, it'll send it to a human and ask, like, how do I interpret this answer?
Nice.
So,
That's great.
so we still, it's not like we blindly kind of like leave it running and then nobody's checking. It'll flag cases where it can't like analyze the reply or analyze the situation in a way that's straightforward, and it'll flag it and send it to a human.
And what percentage of your clients have had it implemented into their processes?
Not a lot. We have the first three using the tool, and we have like 20.
Yeah.
So we only have 3 using it for now, and we are looking for a couple more to start using it so that we can get feedback on, like, how they wanna interact with it, what things they wanna change. It's also really flexible. It's really easy to make tweaks, like, do you wanna add a question to the pre-screening call? Do you wanna remove a question? Do you want the AI to introduce itself differently?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I would think that your acceptance rate would probably go up from here. It
Yeah,
sounds like it's
we
really
just launched
helping
it.
the
Yeah,
hire process. When was it launched?
a month ago.
A month ago. Okay, yeah, great. Well, you'll have all 22 by the end of the year, I'm sure.
Hopefully, and many more.
Well, there's also is there a big holiday push to get staffed up for just in the industry in general? Is it cyclical depending on parts of the year?
It's seasonal. It's really seasonal. It depends on where you are, what you do. Ski resorts, for example, or beach
Right.
resorts sometimes have like a really high demand during the holidays. And then more places where it's like more city travel or more work travel, I don't know, like
Yeah.
Charlotte, Austin, Dallas, those have
Yeah.
low season during the holidays.
Sure, sure. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And Lawrence, what about anything internal? Like, have you guys implemented AI in any internal workflows or any just part of your business that maybe isn't like client facing?
Yeah, so we use AI for accounting. So we use AI a lot. So like honestly, this AI recruiter at the beginning, we didn't even think it was gonna be for our clients' use. It was internal to like make all of our processes better, faster.
Okay.
So we like built it for our internal recruiting processes.
Yeah.
In accounting, we use AI. Well, in sales, your expertise, we also use AI. Honestly, I think almost everywhere. Tech and engineering, we use AI there where we can. What other AI tools are we using? For marketing, yeah, I think we almost everyone at the company uses AI to do their jobs better.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Have there been any instances where there's been challenges that you didn't foresee? Where like you thought that like oh AI is just going to help us with this, but actually it gave you like more of a roadblock, like more something bigger to overcome. And what were your lessons learned from that?
Yes, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts here because the first one that comes to mind is we tested this sales agent that would do cold outbound for us.
Okay,
It would we would prompt it and it would do the prospecting, and then we would prompt it and it would do like very personalized outreach.
and on what medium was it? Email? Was it voice? Was it
It was LinkedIn and email, and then they also had a voice
okay?
one, but we started testing with LinkedIn and email, and if it went well, we were gonna test the voice. It might have been a mistake of me prompting it. I don't think it was though. I think it went like a little too crazy. So for
Yeah, they can
example,
do
so
that.
we had to stop it eventually because it was like sending out things that I was like, I think this is like impacting us negatively more than it's actually helping close customers. So to give you an example of
Yeah.
kind of like the when I decided like this is enough, I feel like I'd rather just stop this is so obviously in the prospecting I was very clear on like hotels. It sent and hourly workers. So like, housekeepers, F&B, people that don't speak English are our candidates. It sent an email to someone who worked at NASA saying that we could help them find astronauts. So
Yeah. How did it get there? Yeah, rein that sucker in. Yeah, they will sometimes do that, right? They'll hallucinate and they'll go off on these things that are completely inappropriate. Sometimes they're just one-offs, right? But other times it is in the prompting. And so it's like, how well is it trained at the beginning? But then also, if you're giving it a lot of scenarios as it gets deeper on things versus just keeping it more basic, then it can stay within the realm. And so there's usually some things that you could do to help it maintain those guardrails so that it's like always pulling back to the main objective.
okay. Okay, yeah, this I don't know where the mistake was, but and it wasn't like a one-off. It was like a lot of like crazy prospects and messages that it was sending out, and eventually we just decided to stop it. And now what we use for AI in sales is like a lot more conservative where like it'll help me draft a reply and then I have to accept it before sending it out.
Okay.
I've shifted towards me doing all of the prospecting without using AI for the prospecting. Using AI to draft like personalized messages, but it's not like as free as it was with this tool. Like I have more control over it now.
Right. Yeah. It. It sounds like it was doing a lot of the responses for you. And so kind of acting in that agent role
Yeah.
and less like just where you're using it now, you're kind of coming up with, you're getting assisted in the content, but it's still you doing the actual replies as opposed to an AI SDR or an AI marketing agent where they're actually the AI is the agent that's doing it on your company's behalf.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's part of that also is kind of like a school of thought where you're a little bit more on the aggressive side in regards to like, let's put AI to work for us. Let's get more people hired that are more likely to stay for a longer period of time because of the AI versus some people are just like, I don't even know where to begin. I'm scared to like dip my feet in sort of thing. And so you're being in the space of happy to use, energized to use, that gets you in the role of like, you're able to shape it for your work. And it's so great to hear that you're taking the responsibility of being like, hey, that wasn't working. Like, we got to table that or do something differently, right? Because that's where those runaway cases can absolutely occur. I heard of one recently where is a voice recognition in the loop, and it was responding so quickly to things that it was clear that it wasn't even allowing the conversation to flow naturally. So to give it the right feedback in the conversation, and it was just coming up with things on its own. So it had to be told to slow down and to take a look at things differently. And it's just so funny because like there's the whole idea of like trust, like, is this AI or is this not? I had a podcast quite recently where the woman was having an experience with what she thought was an AI agent. And so she asked it and she got kind of a vague answer. And then eventually, through figuring things out more, because the other person was so responsive, that's one of the reasons why she thought it was AI. But it turned out it wasn't. It was a real person that was just being very, very responsive. Also on LinkedIn, as a matter of fact. And then oddly enough, I've had that same situation, but where I'll leave messages on LinkedIn as voice notes. And so this one guy got back to me and he was like, wow, the AI these days is so incredible. Like, that sounded like your real voice, Mark. I'm like, dude, it was my real voice. And like, I, barely know the guy sort of thing. And he just instantly went into like, oh, it's AI when it wasn't, it was me. So it's interesting to hear. And, I hats off to you guys for really maintaining that human contact as you're using the tools. So to evaluate them, and then also as the tool is deployed for you as part of the process that the candidates and the resorts and the hotels, etc., are, the human in the loop sort of thing there all the way throughout the process. I think that's fantastic.
No, yeah, I think it's also been like built on these experiences that we've had when we're the clients of the AI tools and like what do we want from these AI tools?
Right. Yeah. What do you feel is like missing in order to help you to get to the next level of whatever automation in your business or developing a new department or I don't know, something that you're like looking to grow into, but like what do you feel like is missing?
That's such a good question. I think right now, what we would like to accelerate the most is, again, the tools were built for us internally. So right now, what we're working on is like, do hotels use the tools in the same way that we do? Are they seeing the same benefits that we're seeing? And initially the results are positive, but they've only been using them for a month. So I think what we're missing right now is like more real, not like us internally, but like more hotels or restaurants using the tools so we can get as much feedback as possible and like tweak them in the ways that we need to tweak them so that we're like, okay, this is ready to like be rolled out like more massively.
Yeah, it would be interesting to think about how you could employ AI into that feedback loop, where I'm sure that you've got kind of a client feedback based on your services in general. How are our services for you? So you're looking for feedback there, and maybe there's something around having the AI assist with that, and so that then it also kind of deepens the connection, willingness to continue to use it with their other candidates coming forward, right? To
Mm,
deepen the trust, right?
that's a good one, like an AI customer success or like customer service agent.
Yeah, I mean they're there. That's a huge usage case of them. I was, with someone the other day, and she's in IT, okay? And her company receives a lot of kind of three-tiered calls. And the first calls that they get are always very simple, more simple to solve, but still tedious. And so her customer service team ends up wasting a lot of time on those as opposed to helping people on their, they call tier 2 or 3 support. And so the tier 2 and 3 are more valuable to them because they're like bigger issues that they're solving, but the tier 1s take up so much time. And we put a number to it where it was like, is it worth $15 an hour sort of thing? And so they're employing AI agents on the tier 1s, but then that frees up their humans to really service their customers when a tier 2 or 3 comes through. And they're also able to do it more off hours, and so that they're not having to use call centers as much. And then it just escalates from there. And so that's kind of like a little bit client facing. Whereas like maybe what you're thinking about would be, yeah, like in the feedback loop, and they're asking, it's like around the satisfaction level, like how are our services, right? Part of the survey, and that sort of customer service. And then you could loop that into taking that feedback, but then always turning it around to like, and give it to your marketing team and having them use things that were learned about their experience, and then having that be part of the continued drip campaign, or just so that they're staying top of mind, or like a thank you or something like that, so that it continues to have that high touch, but still feeling like high human interaction component to it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, so many opportunities with AI and where they can take us, where it can take us.
It's crazy.
It really is. It's going so fast these days as well. I think it's important to just slow down and then like find a tool or two that work well for you, and then, go deep on them and iterate like you guys have done. So, yeah, that's fantastic. What sort of trends do you see in your industry, and specifically like around AI, either as 2025 is like wrapping up, trends that you've like witnessed, or trends that you think might come out in 26?
That's a good question. I think in hospitality, and this is more speaking about like not just not recruiting, but like hospitality. I think AI, up until today, AI is like the adoption is higher for like more like back of house or like office roles or like accounting, or like we're starting to see a couple of like recruiting tools being implemented, but not a lot of client facing yet. So I feel like
Right.
the big trend in hospitality is going to be leveraging AI to make the experiences for people staying at hotels more personalized, better. I think that's where there's going to be like a big shift in hospitality. And then in the recruiting or HR space, I think we're going to see more and more of people are kind of scared of AI in recruiting, but I think we're going to start seeing it more and more in ways that are more conservative, like what we're doing. Like maybe AI to schedule interviews, maybe AI for like yes or no pre-screening, AI as well, the biggest AI tool that has like adoption in recruiting right now is AI note takers that will summarize the interview and help you fill out the ATS. But yeah, I think we're going to start seeing more and more of like AI interviewers, AI pre-screeners.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that there's also like in the recruiting and staffing space, I've seen there's just a rush to flood of market with a lot of different solutions or wannabe solutions. And it's really important, like you guys did, like 2 years. That's a long time to develop AI. Like that's, people are like, AI can do this. I want it built fast. And that's why, Lorenzo, like there's like a 95% failure rate in AIs that are built, like it's for specific use cases. So there's a lot of money going into VC, like VC money going into it and developing these things. And it's VC money and it's risky and they're losing it. And because a lot of these just aren't well thought out or not working, right? Or something like that. But it really is, like you said, moving very fast.
It's moving so fast, so fast. Yeah, we've tried to, so like we've been working on the tools for 2 years, and like every time we're gonna roll something out, we test it a lot. We have it compete with like our recruiting team, like who's performing better, who has better metrics. So yeah, we try to roll it out in a way that's like we automate it when the automation is working really well instead of like going crazy. But yeah, I think in terms of like us testing tools as clients, we're a little bit more flexible there. So for example, for sales tools, I like to try just anything that comes out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And yes, there are so many tools that I feel like are just rolled out too quickly and they're not kind of generating the impact that we as clients sometimes want to see.
Right. Yeah. Having that like ownership, right? Like stamp of approval is key.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with this one that I had the bad experience with, and I don't want to say the name, because I'm sure they were doing their best, but I came back to them and I'm like, look, this has gone crazy too many times. We're at month 1 of the 3-month paid trial, but I'm gonna have to stop using it because of like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, is there any way we could like get a partial refund or some sort of refund? I'm not gonna use it for the next 2 months, like 0.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
Like, really?
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna, like something, I don't know. Like somebody offering to help me prompt it, something. Like, no, nothing.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, because there's a huge opportunity for them to learn so that this problem doesn't happen again. Like, let alone keep you as a happy client, right? It's an opportunity there's something going wrong with their product, their service. It's a total learning opportunity.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Well, great. Well, how can people find you online and learn more about you there?
So our website is pontelabor.com, or you can follow me on LinkedIn. I try to post any updates, product releases, just news in general about what we're doing. You can message me. I try to be as fast as AI to reply, but it's actually me.
Do you guys have like any demos or anything like that, either on your website or on LinkedIn or something where like now that you're using, have you named this AI, by the way?
Not yet. Right now
Yeah.
it's just like Ponte AI Recruiter, but I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll have a name of its own soon.
Yeah, there you go. And are you doing any demo cases online about it?
So they're not online, but on our website, or if you message me on LinkedIn, we can hop on a call and I'll show you the demo and the success cases of the clients using it.
Nice. Fantastic. Yeah, wonderful. Well, stick around here so that this can upload very well. But thank you so much for showing up and sharing everything that you're doing with AI and the recruiting and hospitality industries.
No, thank you so much, Mark.